So using the grid, we're going to answer these questions. So I have A is 2 squared. What does that mean? It means my answer is going to be square area. So when I draw this, the 2 represents the side length. So I'm just going to maybe highlight this in red. That, maybe I'll use a different color here. This is going to be my side length. So when I draw this, I want to draw a side length of 2. And I'm going to draw a square with side length of 2. There is 2 squared. Okay, so 2 squared gives me 4 squares of area. So then my area, which I'm going to do is different color actually, 2 squared is an area of 4. So when I actually count this, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4 squares of area. Okay, so the answer is 4. For B, I'm going to use the same picture. I'm still dealing with squares and square roots. I'm still dealing with squares, but I'm going to use a different picture here. Sorry, I'm going to do it backwards. So that 36 then represents my area. The answer, square root 36, is going to give me a side length of 6. So if I were to draw 36 squares, I'd need a 6 by 6 square to fit that many squares in. So if I want 36 squares, there's going to be 36 squares inside that grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. There are 36 squares. That's what the 36 represents. It's the number of squares. And then the answer to that is going to be, so I've got 36 squares in there. The answer to that is going to be the edge length of 6. So there's 6 along the edge. So square rooting finds that edge length. So 7 squared, the 7 represents the edge length. So I'm going to make a square with the edge length of 7. So there's my 7 by 7 square. And then on the inside is going to be the answer. So 7 squared gives me 49 squares. So when I count up the squares inside here, there's going to be 49 squares. So all this area is represented by 49 squares. And again, if you're not sure, you can always count the number of squares in that area and you're going to get 49 squares. So 49 arranged in a square pattern is going to give me a square with edge length of 7. 64 then is going to be my area. The edge length is going to be 8. So I know that 8 along the edge is going to give me my 64 squares. So if I were to draw this in, I'm going to draw it in over here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to have an 8 by 8 square, and the area inside is going to be 64. So that's what square root 64 means. It's starting with an area of 64. The answer is going to be the edge length. 5 squared is the other way around. It's going to be edge length of 5, and the answer is going to be the number of squares. So if I draw a square, edge length of 5, the area is going to be 25. So that's going to be 25. So make sure that you're drawing all these squares to see how the squares and square roots are related. So the area is 81. I'm going to draw 81 squares. To do that, I need a 9 by 9 square. So drawing my square in, I'm going to have 9 this way. Again, make sure you're careful with your counting. And when you draw it in, make sure that it looks like a square, otherwise it's not going to be a square. And so I have 81 squares in there. If I count 81, I'm going to have them in a square pattern. And the edge length is going to be 9 on here. So when I solve this, square root 81 equals an edge length of 9.